Stop believing marriage is automatically good for men. You've been sold the dream. Settle down, sign the papers, live happily ever after. Cute idea. But for a lot of men, marriage isn't a love story with perks. It's a contract with penalties. What looks like romance often becomes a slow drain on your freedom, your money, and your sanity. If that makes you uncomfortable, good. Because fairy tales are for bedtime, not for life-changing contracts. I'll say this up front. Laws vary by country and state. I'm not your lawyer, and yes, some marriages work. But walking into the riskiest deal of your life without understanding the downside is reckless. Think about it. If I asked you to sign a contract for a business partnership, and I told you, by the way, if this fails, you lose half your income, maybe your house, and you'll be legally obligated to keep paying for years, would you still sign? Most men would laugh me out of the room. But when it's dressed up with flowers, music, and matching outfits, suddenly that contract becomes romantic. That's how powerful the illusion is. Marriage isn't just two people saying I love you. It's a legal agreement where the state is now your third partner. Once you sign, you've accepted terms you didn't even negotiate. And those terms don't vanish when the feelings do. They're enforced by judges and lawyers. Picture this. A couple breaks up after 5 years. If they weren't married, they walk away with their own stuff. Painful, sure, but clean. If they were married, suddenly it's a circus of filings, hearings, mediation, and division. It's not just about who keeps the couch, it's about who gets what slice of your life's work. And you don't get to say, nah, I don't agree. You signed already. The system agrees on your behalf. And here's the kicker. Most men don't even know what they've signed until it's too late. Nobody hands you a copy of the rules at the wedding. You find out when the papers are served. That's like buying a car and only finding out later that the brakes belong to someone else. Money doesn't buy happiness, but losing it will guarantee misery. Divorce isn't just emotionally brutal, it's financially devastating. Even when everyone's reasonable, the process itself drains you. Lawyers don't work for free, courts don't move quickly, and every hour spent fighting is money burning. Here's a scenario. You spend 10 years grinding. You save, you invest, you buy property. You finally feel secure. Then the marriage collapses. Overnight, your net worth gets chopped like firewood. The house either sold or split. Your retirement sliced down. Future earnings may be tied up in alimony or child support. And child support isn't optional. The court doesn't care if your industry tanks or your health dips. The numbers are the numbers. Think of it as Netflix, but you can't cancel, and the price goes up every year. And let's be real, women initiate the majority of divorces. So while you're imagining forever, she might already be calculating the exit. Attraction thrives on polarity, masculine and feminine, pursuit and surrender, leadership and respect. But marriage often strips polarity away. The structure that created excitement, dates, mystery, novelty, gets replaced by routine. Standards slip, boundaries blur. The man stops leading, the woman stops admiring, and both start coasting. It's like working out. If you hit the gym hard before a competition, you look sharp. But if you stop the day after, gravity does its job. Marriage becomes that gravity. I've seen men say, "She doesn't respect me like she used to." No surprise. She doesn't see the man who chased goals, took risks, or demanded excellence. She sees the guy who negotiates chores, avoids conflict, and sinks into the couch. And she responds accordingly. Respect turns into politeness, then into irritation, then into contempt. Nothing kills desire faster than contempt. Well, except maybe your socks on the bedroom floor for the 4th day in a row. Leverage is power, And in relationships, leverage is the ability to walk away. In marriage, men lose that leverage completely. Walking away doesn't just mean heartbreak, it means losing half of what you've built and sometimes a lifetime of payments. And once she knows that, the dynamic changes. She knows you can't leave without wrecking yourself, so the tests get harsher. She pushes boundaries, not always consciously, but instinctively. And you, knowing the cost of leaving, tolerate more. You accept disrespect, smaller doses of intimacy, and coldness because you feel trapped. It's like being locked into a job where quitting means bankruptcy. Do you think your boss is going to respect you if he knows you can't leave? Exactly. The same principle applies. That's why so many married men look like hostages at brunch. The food's fine, the company's polite, but their soul checked out 3 years ago. The costs of marriage aren't just financial or legal, they're personal. The invisible costs are in your time, your focus, and your identity. You lose solitude, you lose hobbies, you lose mission time. Slowly, your life becomes logistics. The gym gets replaced with "we're too busy." Nights with your friends shrink into family obligations. Risks and adventures take a back seat to stability and errands. And the longer this goes on, the smaller your life feels. I've heard men describe it as death by 1,000 cuts. Not one big blow, but years of slow erosion. You wake up one day realizing you're not the man you wanted to be. You're the manager of someone else's schedule. And she doesn't respect managers. She tolerates them. That's not love, that's payroll. Now, not every marriage ends in disaster. Some men make it work. But here's the pattern. Those men walk in prepared, not blind. They build themselves first, financially, emotionally, physically. They choose women based on values and character, not just chemistry. They get legal protection, like prenups or postnups, updated as life evolves. And most importantly, they don't give up their mission. The difference is night and day. Men who win at marriage walk in with leverage and standards. Men who lose walk in with hope. Hope isn't a strategy. Hope is the cousin of delusion. So stop believing marriage automatically benefits men. It doesn't. It benefits the men who prepare, protect themselves, and never give up their mission. For everyone else, it's a high-stakes gamble where the odds are against you. Build your value, protect your assets, lead your life, and if you still choose marriage, do it with eyes wide open. If you don't, you're not broken, you're cautious. And in a world that punishes recklessness, caution is survival. The truth hurts for a moment. Regret lasts for decades.